Divide and conquer. On to the divisional round, and oh, these are some matchups.
Yes, sir.
We've waited long enough, Lamar. We need you back on a football field. Going up at 4:30 Eastern on Saturday, the young rookie, dazzling in his postseason debut. C.J. Stroud taken to the road, going to the bank to take on Lamar and the 1 seed. Packers and Niners, that's 1 versus 7, and the biggest number on the board. Niners laying a hefty 9.5. Bucks Lions. Sunday action coming your way with the Lions 5.5-point favorites, sort of that tweener number you're looking at, total at 48.5. Your lowest total going to be the 45 attached to the main event. Mahomes, Allen, Chiefs, Bills, CBS. Bryant McFadden here to begin the conversation, one that will continue throughout the entirety of the week, so you are privy to move off of your numbers as the numbers move. But let's dive right in, and I want to split this thing in the middle and do conferences. Starting in the NFC, let's talk Packers, Niners. Biggest number on the board at the 9.5. Totals 50.5. Saturday slot. All pros all over the field on one side, confidence on the other. Is it enough confidence to have you scoop up those points with the Pack?
No question. Number one, let's look at the total. 50 and a hook, the odd makers out in Vegas, they're telling us that they believe it's going to be scoring in this ball game from either side. I also agree with that as well. But I'm looking at the Packers getting 9.5. You know, if you can buy it up to a full 10, maybe 11, I think you should do so. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Jordan Love. I mean, this is a guy he's really taken the league by storm, especially in the month of December, and that carried on into the first round against the Dallas Cowboys. Granted, the defensive unit he's facing off against this week is much different than the Dallas Cowboys.
You could say it again.
But we've seen throughout moments in the season where opposing quarterbacks, they've had success against the San Francisco 49ers, most recently Lamar Jackson, right? So I think Jordan Love will have an opportunity to make some plays, and you just need the Green Bay Packers to make this thing a little interesting. You know what I mean? When you talk about taking the points. So 9.5, I got to take 9.5 right now. I don't know if we will have any line movement between now and game time, but based on what Jordan Love has done, like I said, he rolled into the first round super hot. That continues. And one thing I know about playoff football, Joe, teams that go into playoffs sprinting, not limping, they have success. And Jordan Love is showcasing his skill set to be able to tear up opposing defenses. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and his guys around him, they believe in him. So give me the give me the Green Bay Packers getting 9.5.
Well rested are those 49ers. We'll see what they look like with unfinished business also attached to that name. You know what they want to do, and you know the guys who are going to try and do it. Bucks and Lions, winner of the Packers and 49ers will sit and wait for the winner of the Bucks and the Lions. Two teams that at the beginning of the season had different outlooks and expectations. This is where we expected Detroit to be in some ways. Maybe not to this height, but it was a divisional title. They checked that box. They also take care of the wild card round, and now they welcome a team that I think they'd sign up for if you were telling them pick your opponent of the NFC playoff teams. They got a Bucks team coming to town that just walked over the Eagles, and I don't know how much we assign to the Bucks or the Eagles. It was a confluence of events, but we are looking at 5.5. That's sort of one of those numbers to me that tells me Vegas and the money is going to move this number, so maybe we sit and wait. But what do you do with the 5.5?
I'm taking Detroit laying the 5.5. This is a rematch. We saw this game early in the year. I think Detroit won 20-6, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a bad matchup for Tampa Bay, and here's why. What we saw Monday night against the Eagles for Tampa Bay offensively was something that we didn't really see a lot. I'm not talking about the production from Baker Mayfield. I'm talking about the running game. They were able to run the football effectively against the Philadelphia Eagles, a total of 119 yards that provided balance for their offense. But throughout the entire season, that has been an Achilles heel for their offense, the inability to run the football. I think they're going to have issues running the football against the Detroit Lions. Number one, on the road. Number two, the front for Detroit, they do a real good job in neutralizing, effacing opposing offenses' ground and pound attack, and that would warrant the Tampa Bay Buccaneers becoming one-dimensional. You do not want to be one-dimensional with Aiden Hutchinson trying to put pressure on your opposing quarterback. And then when you factor in the offensive nature for Detroit, they're the total opposite, in my opinion, when you talk about Tampa. They have balance. They can run the football. Thunder, lightning. David Montgomery, in comes Jahmyr Gibbs. The way these guys coexist in the backfield has provided a sense of a running style that's been really difficult for defenders to kind of understand and predict, and not to mention the job that Jared Goff has done as well as the quarterback for their offense. I think they're going to score points. I think they're going to get the necessary stops to be able to cover this 5.5 as we currently see it right now.
San Francisco, Detroit, Baltimore, and Buffalo, all great home field advantages, especially when you get to this point in the season. But those fans in Detroit, as the players and the head coach said a night ago,
you think
place was humming.
Eminem makes a return?
He might lose himself again. He might have to lose himself a couple more times. We're not looking to lose anything as it pertains to these numbers, Mac. Let's get to the AFC. Texans, Ravens, 8.5. Massive number right now. 46 is your total. This, to me, is the framing game. It's all what we want to put our focus around. And we could frame it this way. C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson have the same number of playoff wins in their careers. Lamar is 1-3 in his playoff career, 0-2 straight up and against the number at home. We know what happened in 2019. Tennessee comes to town. You lay an egg. You put up 12 points. The season, that is, ends like that. I'm not saying that that's what happens here, but you have a live dog getting 8.5 points in Houston. I have a hard time looking away from that number.
Yeah, this is a rematch also. Week 1, Baltimore took care of their business. That was C.J. Stroud's first start. The C.J. Stroud they played against week 1 is not the same guy they're going to face off against this weekend. Give me the Houston Texans getting the points, 8.5. I think that's a large line. That's a large spread. I'll take the points because I do believe C.J. Stroud, he's shown the ability to score points regardless of the defense he's facing, regardless of where he's playing against that said defense. Yes, a very, very difficult environment in Baltimore, but I like C.J. Stroud. I like his connection with his receivers, not to mention Devin Singletary has been showing the sense to provide running for their offense as well. So give me 8.5. I'm taking the spread with Houston.
I'm right there with you, and I'm sprinkling. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sprinkling. It's a live dog. Chiefs, Bills, CBS, our final game of divisional weekend. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, Tracy Wolfson on the call. Can't miss action coming your way, this time from Orchard Park. Bills laying 2.5, largely because of the fact that we are going to Orchard Park. Total 46.5, Mac. This is the 7th ever meeting between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, the 3rd ever postseason meeting. Both of those postseason meetings do belong to good time Patty Mahomes, both of them coming at Arrowhead. How do you stack up all of the intangibles in this one?
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
I'm taking the Bills. If this was an Arrowhead, I might go the opposite direction. But that home field advantage for these two teams, it means something. And it's safe to say if you had to compare either offense, quarterbacks, Josh Allen and his offense, they've been hot. They've been hotter than Kansas City. And, you know, defensively, I think the nod will go to Kansas City. I think their defense is better than Buffalo, but there's something about Buffalo and their defense. They're not stout, they're not dominant, but they're opportunistic. They play timely football. They get timely stops. So you talk about laying 2.5, 3 points, regardless, give me Buffalo.
I think I lean there with you, but in each of these wins that Buffalo's rattled off at the end of the season, it's been about a 10-minute lull in action where it's 3 and out, maybe you give up some points, 3 and out. You can't have those lulls against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I don't care what version of them.
Also, too, this is a rematch as well. Remember, this was part of that stretch that Buffalo was in the midst of when they needed to win every ball game. They went to Arrowhead and took care of business against Kansas City. And in that game, James Cook had a huge game. Remember, catching the football in the backfield. So this is a team in Buffalo. They have so much confidence. They're not afraid of Kansas City. In years past, when they had to go to Arrowhead in playoff, in playoff moments, it felt like they were a little lacking confidence a little bit. This is a team that believes.
It is the great quarterback matchup of our time, and it's coming your way this weekend on CBS. Mac, thank you.
Sir.
Another look at those plays from the Mac man. Early leans, odds subject to change, and they already have. Buffalo now laying 3. Mac's play, it's a whale play. It moved the line. What can we say?
Take it.
Buffalo laying the 3. He's on that. Texans catching 8.5. We're both on that. I'm sprinkling as well. Tampa Bay, Detroit, 5.5. An interesting number. Lions, we're going to lay those points at home. Crowd's going to be rocking. M's going to be there. We know it. San Francisco, 1 versus 7, laying a massive number, the biggest on the weekend, 9.5. Mac is also sharp, scooping those points.